Question 1. Write 0.01723 in standard form. So we move the decimal point is 0.01723. 1723. And then we are asked to write it in standard form. So we move the decimal point 2 times. So the number becomes 1.723, but in standard form is of the form a times 10 to the power n, where a is from 1 to 9. This ranges from 1 to 9. N is an integer. So you write 1.723 times 10 raised to the power 2, because we have moved the decimal point 2 times. From here we have moved the decimal point 2 times, so it's times 10 raised to the power 2. When you are moving the decimal point towards the positive, then it's to the power negative, right? But when you are moving the decimal point towards the negative, right, it depends on the direction. So if you are moving the decimal point towards this direction, then it's negative. But when you are moving the decimal point towards the opposite direction like this, then here it becomes positive. So from the above, we have 1.723 times 10 raised to the power minus 2. So our answer there is C. Now, question 2. So what is the value of 3x squared plus 2x minus 7 when x is equal to minus 3? So with such question, you just substitute minus 3 inside the equation to get your value. So we have 3. Question 2. What is the value of 3x squared plus 2x minus 7 when x is equal to minus 3? When such question is given, then you just substitute the value of x, which is minus 3, inside the equation. So minus 3, anytime you see x, just put minus 3 there. Therefore, we have something like this, 3, then from x, you put minus 3 there, so minus 3 square plus 2, then you put minus 3, it's minus 3 minus 7. So minus 3 square will give you 9. 3 times minus 3 square will give you 9, right? And then 9 times 3 will give you 27. So we have here 27. The whole of this will give you 27 plus minus 3 times 2 will give you 6, right? But it will be negative because of the sign here, because of the negative sign there. So it will be minus 6 minus 7. Minus 6 minus 7 will give you minus 15. So here it will imply to 27 minus 6 minus 7, but the minus 6 minus 7, it gives you what? Minus 13. So 27 minus 13, which will give you what? If you check 27 minus 13, which will give you 14, right? Which our answer here is 14. By substituting minus 3 inside the equation, you get 14, which is C. Question 3. Find the image of point S minus 2, 2 when it is reflected in the y-axis. Anytime a point is reflected in the y-axis, the x is negative, right? So we have something like this. This is how the formula goes. X, y, map to, when it's reflected in the y-axis, x become negative. Now we have negative x, y. So this is how the formula goes. So now from here, the image of the point s, the image of the point x minus 2, 2. So here, this implies to our x value is minus 2 here, and then 2. This is our y value, 2. But it is reflected in the y-axis. So the formula says when it's reflected in the y-axis, x becomes what? Negative. But here, x is already negative. It's negative 2, so it tends to what? Negative, negative, so give you positive. So this will map to, this will now give you 2, 2. The y remains the same, but the x, it tends to 2 because there's already a negative sign attached to the x value. So when it's reflected in the y-axis, x also becomes negative. So negative, negative gives you positive. So our answer here is 2, 2. So from our answer here is 2, 2, which is B. B. Question 4. What is the actual bearing of south 25 degrees east? The cardinal point, we have a diagram like this. And here is our north. Here is our south. Here is our east. And here is our west. Right? So now the question says the bearing is what? From south going to east is 25 degrees. So we have a line like this. And then the angle here is 25 degrees. Right? And the bearings are always taken from north. So from the question, what they are interested in is from north here up to that line, what is the angle? So you just take here is 90 degrees. The angle here from north to east, right? The total angle from north to east is 90 degrees here. It's 90 degrees. So here. So the total angle from north, they want the total angle from north to that particular line here. So from north to east is 90 degrees. From east to that line is 90 degrees minus 25 degrees. So you take 90 degrees minus 25 degrees. 90 degrees minus 25 degrees, which will give you 65 degrees. So this will give you 65 degrees, right? So 65 degrees, then you add it to the 90 degrees. When you add the 65 degrees and you add it to the 90 degrees, which will give you 155 degrees. So in all, the solution diagram will be like this. $155 degrees. This so this is the angle they are looking for. So the correct answer is 155 degrees, which is option D. It's option D here. It's option D. Question 5. Given that m is equal to b over 2 minus t, make t the subject. To make t the subject, first of all, let's multiply each term by 2 to get rid of the denominator, which is the 2. So we have 2 times m is equal to, this is times multiplication sign, is equal to b over 2 times 2, right? We are multiplying each term by 2 minus t times 2 Then this 2 will cancel this 2, leaving 2m to be equal to b minus 2t. But we want to find t. We want to make t the subject. So we now group like things. We send a b across, giving you 2m minus b by this is equal to minus 2t. Now we divide both sides by minus 2. Here minus 2. Minus 2 will cancel minus 2. So our final answer t is equal to 2m minus b all over minus 2. Question 16. Find the simple interest on 350 Ghana cedis for 4 years at 5% annual. So we have the simple interest formula, which states that the amount, which is A, you multiply it by the rate and multiply it by time all over 100%. So simple interest SI will be equal to, the amount here is what, 350 Ghana cedis. The simple interest is equal to, amount is 350 Ghana cedis, and you multiply it by 4 years, which is the time, times the rate, which is 5%, and divide everything over 100. Now 350 times 4 times 5 will give you 7,000, and you divide it by 100, and 0 will cancel 0, 0 will cancel 0, leaving 70 over 1, which is the same thing as 70. So the simple interest will be equal to 70, and that is your answer. You are dividing by 100 because of the rate. The rate is 5%. Anytime you hear percentage, that means it's over 100. So the 5 is over 100. So when you multiply the 350, that's the amount, by the time, which is the 4 years, and by the rate, which is 5%, 5 over 100. You multiply over 100. That's 5 over 100. The answer is C. This is a y value, so P is said that is x, comma, y, right? But gradient, let's represent it as G, is equal to change in y over change in x. That's y1 minus y2 all over, and change in x, that's yx1 minus x2. So let's substitute the values. From the values here, we can have x1 from P to be, we can have x1, y1 values from P, and then Q to be x2, y2. So let's check. From P we have minus 5, so let's represent that one as the minus 5 minus 3. So let's represent y1 x1, right? Let's represent y1 x1 as minus 5, that's the x values for P, and then minus 3, that's the y values for P, and then Q. So we bring the negative signs, changing y, so we bring the negative signs, and then y2 x2 as in Q we have minus 4. So here we have another negative 4 here. That's the x values for Q. Minus 7 is the y values for Q, right? So this implies to minus 3 minus 7. So the negative will turn to positive. Minus 3 plus 7 all over minus 5 plus 4, which will give you 7 minus 3 will give you 4, minus 5 plus 4, which will give you minus 1. So the gradient G is equal to minus 4. G is equal to minus 4, which is A as the answer. Question 18. Given that 1 kilometer is equal to 5 over 8 miles, what is 240 miles in kilometers? Equate them. 1 kilometer is equal to 5 over 8. This is 5 over 8 miles. So 240 miles is equal to what? So you don't know the value, so let's put the x, then you cross multiply. When you cross multiply, you have x times 5 over 8. That will give you 5 over 8x to be equal to 240 times the 1 at the left hand side, that's the 1 kilometer, so it's equal to 240. Now we want to find x, so you can multiply here by 8. You can multiply here by 8, and divide by 5 again, or better still, just divide both sides by 5 over 8 here over 5 over 8. So 5 over 8 will cancel 5 over 8. 240, x value will now be equal to 240 divided by 5 over 8. Now 240 divided by 5 over 8 can also be written as x to be equal to 240. Then you change the division sign to multiplication sign, times, and then you take the inverse of the number. So instead of 5 over 8, it will now be 8 over 5. Oh, sorry. This is 8 over 5, right? So times 8 over 5 here. So 240 times 8 over 5. 240 times 8 over 5, which will give you 384. So our x value is equal to 384, and that's the final answer. So the final answer here is C. Question 19. John walks 22.5 minutes and runs 7.5 minutes to school. What percentage of the total time does he spend walking? So you add the walking time plus the running time, which will give you the total time that requires John to go to school. So if you sum the two, it will give you 22.5 plus 7.5. 22.5 plus 7.5 will give you 30. Right? So it takes John 30 minutes to move to school. Now they are saying what percentage of the total time does he spend walking? So you take the walking time over the total time and multiply by 100% to find the percentage of the total time that he spent walking. So the walking time is 1.5, that's 22.5, over the total time, which is 30 minutes, and multiply it by 100% to get the percentage of the time that John spent walking to school. In terms of percentage, what is it? Right? So 22.5 over 30. 22.5 over 30 will give you 0.75. So the 0.75, and you multiply it by 100%, which will give you 75%. Right? So the answer is 75%. So if you check from the possible answers, it's option D, which is the 75%. Question 20. Kobe is 5 years older than his brother. If Kobe is 13 years old, how old is his brother? Question. Then you consider Kobe's age, let's say K, to be equal to, they say Kobe's age is 5 years older than his brother, so it's equal to his brother's age. Let's represent that one with B, plus 5. So Kobe's age is equal to his brother's age plus 5. To find his brother's age, then you take Kobe's age and subtract 5 from it. That's his brother's age. Then they said, if Kobe is 13 years old, how old is his brother? Now they say Kobe is what? 13 years old. So if Kobe is 13 years old, then you subtract 5 from it. That's 5 years from it to get his brother's age. 13 minus 5 is equal to, that's his brother's age. So 13 minus 5 is equal to 8. So his brother's age is 8. That's option B. Question 21. Find the rule for the mapping. So we have x mapped to y. 1 it mapped to 4, 2 mapped to 2, 3 mapped to 0, 4 mapped to -2, 5 mapped to -4. Find the rule for the mapping. To find the rule for the mapping, since as far as objectives are concerned, just substitute the value of x. The value of x, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Substitute them inside the equation, which is y is equal to 2x plus 2, to see whether you get the corresponding equation down here, which is y. Right? Whether you get the corresponding equation here, which is the y. So the red are the answers. So just substitute the x values inside these particular equations. We have A, y is equal to 2x plus 2, B, y is equal to -2x plus 2, and C, y is equal to 4x, and D, y is equal to -2x plus 6. Substitute the value of x inside the equation to see whether you get, just consider the first and second and third, just 3 values. So example, the correct answer is D though. So example, let's substitute x is equal to 1 and x is equal to 2 inside the equation and see. So considering B, for example, so B, the equation is y is equal to 2x plus 2. Don't forget the minus sign. Y is equal to -2x plus 2. So when x is equal to 1, what happened? Then we have -2 plus 2. X is equal to 1. Meaning y is equal to what? 0. Y is equal to 0 because 1 is here. -2 times 1 will give you -2 plus 2. -2 plus 2 will give you 0. Is it true? When x is equal to 1. When x is equal to 1. It's not true because when x is equal to 1, it gives you y to be equal to 4. So this is wrong. So when you go through all will be wrong. It's only this equation that was turned out. Right? Let's prove it. When you pick any value at all, for example, let's go to option, let's pick y is equal x is equal to 4. So when x is equal to 4, so this is the equation. Let me scroll down. This is the equation. This is the equation. Y is equal to -2x plus 6. That is the equation. So you can take any value and put any value of x, you get the corresponding y. So let's consider the last one, which is 5. Let's consider the last one, which is 5 here. Right? 5. So we expected to get -4 as the answer. So y is equal to, let's put 5 there. So -2 times 5. -2 times 5 plus 6. 5 times -2 will give you -10. -10 plus 6, which will give you what? -4. Is it true? Yes, it's true. From the equation it is true. When you put 5 inside, you get -4. Therefore, D is the answer.
The answer is D. When you put any value of x, you get the corresponding y value, which satisfy the equation. It's D that satisfies the equation. Question 22. Arrange the following numbers in ascending order. That means from lowest to highest. 9.9/5, 1.88, 15/8. The simplest way to go about this question is to convert each fraction to decimal. So example like the 9/5. How many times will 5 enter 9? Is 1. Remainder 4. You put point and add 0. How many times will 5 enter 40? Is 8. So you do the same thing for the 15/8. For the 15/8, it will give you 1.875. When you convert it to decimal, it will give you 1.875. Right? So you compare these numbers and arrange them in ascending order. So, and in the middle we have 1.88. So consider these three numbers in terms of the decimal. Which one is the lowest? We have the 1.8 to be the lowest. 88 is the maximum. Then will be 1.8, which is 9/5, followed by 1.875, which is 15/8, that's A. So the correct answer will be A, followed by the last one, 1.88. So the correct answer here will be A, which satisfy that from ascending order. Question 23. Simplify x minus 1 all in bracket square minus 1. So we have x minus 1 in bracket. Since it's squared, I mean we have another bracket x minus 1 before we now have the negative 1. So let's expand the bracket. X times x, this x times this x will give you x squared. X times minus 1. You take the first bracket, the first term, and multiply the whole of the bracket at the other side. Then you take the second term from the first bracket and multiply the second bracket. So x times x will give you x squared. X times minus 1 will give you minus x. Minus 1 times x will give you minus x. Here, minus 1 times x. And then the last one, minus 1 times minus 1, which will give you positive 1. Right? Before we now have the last term, which is the minus 1 at the top here. Minus 1, which is at the top here. Now, x squared. Can I write the statement again? X squared minus x will give you minus 2x. Plus 1 minus 1 will give you 0. So that will be plus 0. So the statement will now be, this is 0. The statement will be x squared minus 2x as the final answer. Do you have x minus 2x from the answers? Yes. X squared minus 2x, which is A, to be A. Let's clean this. X minus 2x will be A. That will be A. Question 24. A bag contains 20 oranges, of which 6 are bad. Find the probability of picking a good orange from the bag. So from a question like this, the total number of oranges are 20. So total number of oranges, T, is equal to 20 oranges. And then bad oranges are how many? 6. So meaning good oranges are how many? 20 minus 6, which will give you 14. So now they say find the probability of picking a good orange from the bag. To find that probability, you have to first of all take the good oranges over the total number of oranges. That gives you the probability of finding a good orange from the bag. Take the ratio of the good oranges over the total number of oranges. So the good oranges are 14. So 14 divided by the total number of oranges, which is 20. Then 14 divided by 20. 14 divided by 20 gives you 7 over 10. This gives you 7 over 10. Right? So 7 over 10 is the probability of choosing a good orange, right, from the bag. 7 over 10, which is option D. This is the final answer, 7 over 10. From the diagram above, they said find R. We have this diagram and we are asked to find R. For us to find R, we just apply a simple principle which states this is the angle AGF is 80 degrees. Angle AGF is 80 degrees. And angle CFE is R. The angle they form there is R, right? And then as far as angles are concerned, when you are giving example, angle ABC, the letter in the middle represent where the angle will be. So angle ABC simply means that the angle is formed at B. So angle CFE, meaning the angle is formed here. Angle CFE, meaning the angle is formed here. That angle is R. So that's the angle they are asked to find. And then by going back to plane geometry, we have alternating angles. This is an alternating angles. Since line AB and line CD are parallel lines, they do not meet, they are parallel lines. Angle AGF will be equal to angle CFE, and angle CFE is equal to R. The angle there is R, is equal to 80 degrees, and angle AGF is also 80 degrees. So R is equal to 80. Why? Because they are alternating angles. The angle R is alternating with the 80 degrees, which is the AGF. So the answer is 80 degrees. Alternating angles are equal. The answer is 80 degrees. So let's check the possible answers, which will be C, 80 degrees. The same diagram with different question. Now we are asked to find the value of K. To find the value of K, we all know the R and the 80. They are alternating angles, meaning they are the same. So if R is equal to 80, and then the R, and then we have 5K, right, at the other side, on the line EG. Consider line EG. Consider this line EG, right? We have R and 5K on the line. An angle on a straight line gives you 180 degrees. So you have 5K, that's the angle on it, plus R, the angle R, to be equal to 180 degrees, because angle on a straight line forms 180 degrees. But we know angle R to be equal to 80 degrees, right? So we now have 5K plus 80 to be equal to 180 degrees. So we just make K the subject. So we have 5K to be equal to 180. We take the 80 across here, which will give you 180 minus 80 is equal to 100. Here will be 100, because 180 minus 80 is equal to 100. So 5K is equal to 100. We divide both sides by 5. Here by 5. 5 will cancel 5. K will now be equal to 5 into yourself 1. 5 into 100. 100 divided by 5 will give you 20. So K will be equal to 20. But if you were asked to find angle CFG, that means you are asked to find 5K. You just multiply 20 times 5. K is equal to 20 degrees here. 20 degrees is the answer. Question 27. simplify one whole number 1 over 2 minus 5 over 6 in bracket multiply by 9 over 10. This is board mass, right? We use board mass to answer questions like this. Why? Because it involves both brackets and different operations, which is multiplication and then subtraction. So to solve a question like this, you first of all have to convert the mixed fraction to improper fraction, right? You convert the mixed fraction to proper or improper fraction. Determining on how the mixed fraction is written, you convert the mixed fraction to improper or proper fraction. So you first bracket open 2 times the whole number, which is 2, plus the numerator, which is 1. So if you add the 2 plus 1, which will give you 3 all over the denominator, which is 2, minus 5 over 6, all in brackets, times 9 over 10. Now in board mass like this, board mass, which is BODMAS, bracket of division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. That when you are given an expression having more than one operator, be it the multiplication sign, be it the addition, be it the subtraction, deal with the bracket first. And even the bracket in the expression, deal with the bracket first, followed by off, continue with division, followed by multiplication and addition and subtraction, right? So with this expression, that we should deal with the bracket first. So meaning we have to solve with the bracket first. That's 3 over 2 minus 5 over 6. So what is the LCM? The LCM here is 6. Now how many times will 2 enter 6? 3. 3 times 3 will give you 9, minus 6. The 6 will cancel 6, leaving 5. So in the bracket, we are still working with the bracket like this, which will give you 9 minus 5 over 6. So 9 minus 5 will give you 4. So we have 4 over 6, right? That's the bracket. We have 4 over 6. So in the bracket, so from this statement, it can imply to this statement can imply to, since we've worked with the bracket and we got 4 over 6, it can now implies to 4 over 6 times the number that was there, that was 9 over 10. 9 over 10. So 4 over 6 times 9 over 10. Yeah. 4 over 6 times 9 over 10. Sure. 4 into itself, 2. 2 here, 2. And 2 here, 3. Right? So we have 2 over 3 times 9 over 10. 2 over 3 times 9 over 10, which will give you 3. The final answer will give you 3 over 5. Right? So be 3 over 5. Which is option D. Question 29. The diagram is a square of side 2 cm, in which inscribed circle with center O. Use the information to answer the question below. Find the area of the shaded portion. To find the area of the shaded portion, you consider the diagram. The 2 cm, that is the diameter of the circle, right? So the radius here, if you consider the radius from the circumference of the circle to the center will be equal to 1 centimeter. Right, that will be equal to 1 centimeter. Now you are asked to find the area of the shaded portion. To find the area of the shaded portion, you have to first of all find the area of the square. And area of a square is equal to length times breadth. Length times the breadth, right? So the length is 2 centimeter, the breadth is 2 centimeter. So area of the square, let's represent it as S, will be equal to 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. And then you subtract area of the circle from it to give you the area of the shaded portion. So area of the circle is equal to pi r square. So pi is equal to 22/7. So circle C will be equal to, the area will be equal to pi, which is 22/7, times r. And the radius here is 1 centimeter, because the height, the breadth of the square is 2 centimeter, and half of it gives you the radius of the circle. So it will give you 1 r square. So 22/7 times 1 square will give you 22/7. So to find the area of the shaded portion, which is A of the shaded portion, will be equal to, take the area of the square minus area of the circle, which is 22/7. So let's find A. So here you can take the LCM as 7. So 7 times 4 will give you 28 here, minus this 7 will cancel 7, 7 will cancel 7, 7 will cancel 7, leaving 22 here. 28 minus 22 will give you 6. So it will be 6/7. And that's the final answer, 6/7. But we have to convert the fraction to decimal. So 6/7 in decimal will give you 0.8571. So let's check here. So in 2 decimal places it will be 0.86. So the correct answer is A. The correct answer is A here. A similar question, question 13. The diagram is a square of size 2 cm in which inscribed circle with center O. Use the information to answer the question below. Find the area of the circle. Area of the circle is equal to pi r square, right? But with the square, we have the breadth to be equal to 2 cm and the height 2 cm. So the height being 2 cm, it forms the diameter of the circle. That is, this is the diameter of the circle, which is 2 cm. So therefore, the radius, which is equal to half a diameter, will be equal to 1 centimeter. So the radius will be equal to 1 centimeter. So you just substitute inside the formula pi r square, which will give you pi is equal to 22/7. And then you take radius, which is equal to 1 square. So the answer will be equal to 22/7. 1 square times 22/7 will give you 22/7. And 22/7 in decimal will give you 3.14. In 2 decimal places to give you 3.14. The answer is A. Centimeter square, because you are finding radius, you are finding area, so it will be centimeter square. A man can take 12 hours to do a piece of work. How long will it take 6 men working at the same rate to do the work? So if one man, that's ratio and proportion. If one man, it takes 12 hours. That's the time it takes to do the same work. Then with 6 men, then how long will it take to do the work? Let's represent it with x, because we don't know the number of hours it will take for 6 men to do the work. X to be equal to 12 all over 6. Therefore x is equal to 6 is in itself 1 to 6 into 12 2, so 2 hours. So the answer there will be C. Convert 12.03 meters to centimeters. So to convert meters to centimeters, you just divide by 100. So we have 12.03 divided by 100, and 12.03 divided by 100 will give you 0.1203 0.1203 in centimeters, which is A. Question 33. A quadrilateral with one pair of opposite sides parallel is called. So let's consider A is a kite, right? A is a kite like this. A is a kite like this. So it disqualifies to be a quadrilateral because it doesn't have one pair being parallel. It doesn't have parallel sizes. Let's consider rectangle. They are all four-sided figures. So with rectangles, they have two pairs. Two pairs are parallel, so it's also disqualified. So A and B are wrong. Let's consider C. It's the same thing as the rectangle, but this time around square is having all the sizes being equal, and then two pair instead of one pair is two pairs that are parallel. These two lines are parallel, they do not meet. But let's consider D, which is the last one. That is a trapezium. It's like this. It's like this. The trapezium is like this, with this side parallel to this side. It has only one pair parallel to in the figure. It has only one parallel size. One pair is parallel, so therefore trapezium is the answer. The answer here is trapezium. A book was sold for 48 Ghana cedis as a profit of 20%. Find the cost price. We have profit, which is the selling price minus the cost price, all over cost price times 100 to be equal to profit percentage. Now we have been given selling price, which is 48 Ghana cedis, and we are asked to find cost price. So our cost price times 100, and we have been given profit percentage, which is equal to 20%. 20. Now here we can multiply both sides by cost price. So we now have 48 minus cost price, right? 48 minus cost price like this times 100 to be equal to 20% CP. That's the cost price, right? If you multiply both sides by cost price, here times cost price will cancel cost price, leaving 48 minus cost price times 100. This statement is equal to 20% of cost price. Now let's divide both sides by 100 to get rid of the 100 at the left hand side. So here is over 100, here over 100. So 100 will cancel 100, leaving 48 minus the cost price. 48 minus the cost price to be equal to 20 over 100 times the cost price, right? $20 over 100 will give you 0.2. So here we now have 0.2. 20 over 100 will give you 0.2 CP. That's the cost price, to be equal to 48 minus CP. But we want to find CP, so I suggest we send the CP across here so that it will become 48 to be equal to 0.2 CP plus CP. So 0.2% cost price plus cost price will give you 1 plus 0.2 will give you 1.2. So we now have 1.2 CP to be equal to 48 here. So we divide both sides by 1.2 all over 1.2. 1.2 will cancel 1.2, leaving the cost price to be equal to 48 over 1.2 to be equal to 40. 48 over 1.2 to be equal to 40, right? And that's the final answer, meaning the cost price to be equal to 40. The cost price is equal to 40. There is a formula to find cost price when selling price and the profit is given, but without following the formula, that is how you go about it. Question 35. Find the vector which translates point 26 to 5, 4. Find the vector which translates the point 26 to 5, 4. So meaning we have a point 2, 6 like this, and there is a vector, we don't know it, so let's represent it with the point which is the x and y vertices, and it gives you 5 and 4. So you are asked to find x and y. So from this, if 2, 6 translated with a vector xy to give you 5, 4, so meaning 2 plus x to be equal to 5. Find x, so x to be equal to 5 minus 2, which is equal to 5 minus 2 will give you 3. So x will be equal to 3. And then the next one is y. So we have the statement y 6 plus y to be equal to 4. From here, 6 plus y is equal to 4. So y is equal to 4 minus 6. And 4 minus 6 will give you minus 2. So the vector there is 3 minus 2, where x is equal to 3 and then y is equal to minus 2. So if you check from the answers there, the answer there will be C. The vector there is 3 and minus 2, which is equal to C. Question 36. Cement and sand were mixed in the ratio 2:5. How many kilometers of cement was contained in the 35 kilograms of the mixture? So cement, the ratio of cement is 2, and that of sand was 5, right? And we are asked to find how many kilograms of cement was contained in the 35 kilograms of the mixture. So we have to first of all have to find the total ratio, which is equal to 5 plus 2, which will give you 7. So total ratio is equal to 7. 5 plus 2, which will give you 7. And then the ratio of cement, which is 2. So you take the ratio of cement to the total ratio, which is 7, and multiply it by the mixture, total mixture, which is 35 kilograms. 35. And it will give you 2/7 times 35, which will give you 10. Therefore 10 kilograms of cement was mixed in the 35 kilograms of the mixture. So which will give you B as your final answer. Which of the following is not an integer? An integer is a positive or negative whole number. So 1 is an integer, -5 is an integer, 0 is an integer, but 0.5 is not an integer. So the final answer is 0.5. It's the only number that is not an integer. Question 38. Simplify 5 to the power 7 times 5 to the power -4 all over 5 to the power 3. So that's, you apply your indices here, that when you are multiplying and the numbers are the same, you add the exponent. So the statement is 5 to the power 7 times 5 to the power -4 all over 5 to the power 3. So it will give you 5 from the numerator, 5 to the power 7 times 5 to the power -4 when the numbers are the same. So we have the numbers here, 5 here, 5 here. We add the exponent. So you add 7 plus -4, which will give you 3. So we now have 5 to the power 3 all over 5 to the power 3 here. And then another rule states that when the numbers are the same and you are dividing, you subtract the exponent. So here it will also give you 5 to the power 3 minus 3. So 5 to the power 3 minus 3 will give you 0. So it will give you 5 to the power 0. Any number to the power 0 is equal to 1. That's one of the properties in indices. So the answer will be 1. The answer there will be equal to 1, which is B. Here, 1. Question 39. The height of a cylinder is 5 cm and the radius is 7 cm. Find the volume of the cylinder. To find the volume of the cylinder, formula for finding volume of a cylinder is equal to pi r square height, right? Pi r square h, where h is the height. So pi is equal to 22/7, and the radius is what? From the question, the radius is 7. Here the radius is 7, so you put 7 there and you square it, and the height there is what? 5 cm, and you multiply it by the height, which is 5 cm. So 7 square will give you 49, right? So 22, we have 22/7 times 49 times 5. So 22/7 times 49 times 5 will give you 770. So 770, that is the volume of the cylinder. 770 centimeter cube. That's the volume of the cylinder. So it will give you option A here, which is 770 centimeter cube as the final answer. Question 1. Given that the set A is multiples of 3 less than 12, set B is integers between 4 and 8, and set C is 4, 5, 7. Find I, A intersection B, I, A union B intersection C, I, A intersection B union C. So with this question, you are advised to list each set. So you consider set A, you list all the elements in the set. Set B, you list all the elements. And set C, the elements are already provided. So A, so you have A, set A to be equal to the set multiples of 3 less than 12. So the multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12 is not included because they said less than 12, so 12 is not included. This is set A. And set B, integers between 4 and 8. So 4 and 8 are exclusive, so you consider the numbers 5, 6, 7, and that is all, because 8 and 4 are not inclusive. 8 and 4 are not inclusive. So we have only 5, 6, and 7. And then set C is equal to 4, 5, 7 as indicated in the question. Right? And now you are asked to find I, A intersection B. A intersection B simply means the elements that are common between set A and set B. So if you consider set A and set B, what are the elements that are common between them? You realize that with set A, we have 6 here, and set B, we have 6 there. So this 6 is common between the two sets. So the answer A intersection B, I, A intersection B is equal to a set having 6 as an element. It is the element that is common between the two sets. Now I says A union B intersection C. That we should find A union B intersection C. Before we find A union B intersection C, we have to first of all find A union B. So A union B is equal to A union B. A union B consists of elements that are found in A and elements that are found in B. Add the elements in A to the elements in B in one set. That's A union B. But avoid repetition. Example, we have 6 that is in set A and we have 6 that is in set B, right? We just take the number once. We don't repeat the numbers. And they are also arranged in ascending order. So A A union B will be equal to 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. It will be equal to 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. Right? If you check from the above, 3, we have 3 here, we have 3, 5 here, 6, 7, and 9. We arrange them in ascending order. And also take, when you have repeated numbers in the sets, you take one of them. So avoid repetition. We can't have 6, 6. No, we only have 1, 6. Right? So that's the solution for A union B. But we are asked in II to find A union B intersection C. If you check the C values here, C is equal to 4, 5, 7, right? So we have the C here. C is equal to 4, 5, 7, So now A union B intersection C. So the A union B being 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and then C being 4, 5, 7. What are the elements that are common between these two sets? That we have 5 here in C, and then we also have the same 5 here in A union B. These elements are common. We have another one, 7, and we have 7 here too in set A union B, right? So these 5 and 7 are the two elements that are common between the two sets. So A union B intersection C will be equal to a set having two elements, that is 5 and 7. These are the two elements that are common in both sets. Okay. And then we have III. Find A intersection B union C. A intersection B union C. III. Find A intersection B union C. To find A intersection B union C, we have to first of all find A intersection B. Then from the above, we found A intersection B in I. From I, A intersection B was 6. From I, A intersection B was 6. So A intersection B, it was a set having 6 as an element. And then C, from above here, C is equal to 4, 5, 7. So they say we should combine the two sets together. You have A intersection B union C to be equal to, you know, A intersection B is equal to 6, and then C is equal to 4, 5, 7. So you bring the two sets together, you have 4, you have a set having 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And that is your final answer. A intersection B union C is equal to a set having an element 4, 5, 6, and 7. Question 1b. Simplify one whole number 3/4 minus two whole number 5/6, right? Minus one whole number 9/10 plus four whole number 7/8. right? We first have to convert each of the mixed fractions to improper fraction, right? We convert each of the mixed fraction to improper fraction. Then to convert the mixed fraction to improper fraction, you take the denominator, which is the first one, the denominator is 4. Then you multiply by the whole number, which is 1. Add the numerator, which is 3, all over the denominator, which is 4. So we have 4 times 1, which is 4, plus 3, which will give you 7. So here we have 7 over 4, minus 6 times 2, which will give you 12. 12 plus 5, 17. We have 17 all over 6, minus the denominator, which is 10. 10 times the whole number, which is 1, 10, plus the numerator, which is 9, which will give you 19 here. 19 all over the denominator, which is 10, plus 8 times 4, that's the whole number. The denominator 8 times the whole number 4, which will give you 32. 32 plus the numerator, which is 7, to give you 39 all over the denominator, which is 8, right? So we have 8, 10, 6, and 4. These are the denominators of each of the fractions, right? So now, to go further, we have to find the LCM of 4, 6, 10, and 8, right? First of all, I have to find the multiples of 4, find the multiples of 6 next, find the multiples of 10 next, and find the multiples of 8. After finding the multiples of each of the denominators, then you find the common multiples among them. The multiples among the 4 denominators, that's 4, 6, 10, and then 8. The common multiples among them, after which you take the least common multiple. In the common multiples, you take the least common multiples, a big division sign, and you write the least common multiples down. So example, my least common multiples is 480. Now you ask yourself, how many times will 4 enter 480? It is 120 times. So we take 120 and multiply by the numerator, which is 7. Minus, how many times will 6 enter 480? 6 will enter 480 80 times. You multiply it by the numerator, which is 17. So 80 times 17, minus, how many times will 10 enter 480? It is 48 times. So we have 48 times the numerator, which is 19, plus, how many times will 8 enter 480? 8 will enter 480 60 times. So we have 60 times the numerator, which is 39, right? Now let's simplify further. 120 times 7 will give you 840 here. 840 minus 80 times 17 will give you 1360, minus 48 times 19 will give you 48 times 19 will give you 912, plus 60 times 39 will give you 2340 all over the denominator here being 480. That's the LCM. Now 840 minus 1360 minus 912 plus 2340 If you add all, it will give you 908. You have 908 all over the LCM here being 480. Now, don't leave your answer in a fraction form because the question was given in mixed fraction form. So we have to convert this answer of 908 over 480 back to the mixed fraction form since the question was asked in mixed fraction form. So you ask yourself, how many times will the denominator enter the numerator? So 480, how many times will it enter 908? It's once, so it's 1. Remember how many? Remember 428. So we have 428 here all over the denominator, which is 480. And that is our final answer. Question 2a. Simplify 15 bracket open 4 minus 6 times 49 divided by 7. That's 49 divided by 7. This is a division sign, 49 divided by 7. So we have to apply board mass. We have to apply board mass here. Brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. It states that anytime you are given an expression having more than one operator, right? Example, multiplication sign, addition sign, and subtraction sign, having more than one of these operators, then you go back and apply this principle called board mathematics, that you deal with the bracket first, followed by the of, followed by division, followed by multiplication, followed by addition and subtraction, right? So now from the question here, applying board mass, we have the same 15 here, 15. Then in the bracket, we work with the bracket first. 4 minus 6 will give you, 4 minus 6 will give you minus 2 times 49 divided by 7. Now, still with the bracket, 15 times minus 2 will give you minus 30. You are now done with the bracket. So we consider off. Off is not there. Then we consider division. Is there division? Yes. With the multiplication sign, and we work with 49 divided by 7. And 49 divided by 7 will give you 7. So we have 7 here. Right? So we have 7 here. 49 divided by 7 will give you 7. So we now have minus 30 times 7. And minus 30 times 7 is equal to, so this implies to minus 30 times 7 will give you minus 210. That is the answer. 210. Question 2b. Expand and simplify b bracket open 12a minus 3, 12a minus 3 bracket close minus a minus b in bracket open 3 plus b, 3 plus b, all in bracket, right? So let's expand it. First, let's expand the first bracket. So you take b times 12a, which will give you 12ab, and you take b times minus 3, which will give you minus 3b, minus, let's open curly bracket and expand these two brackets together. A times 3, you take the first bracket, the first term, and multiply the second bracket. and you take the second term from the first bracket and multiply the whole of the second bracket. So let's consider the first term first, which is a from the first bracket. So a times 3 will give you 3a. A times b will give you ab plus ab. Now let's consider the second term from the first bracket. Minus b times 3 give you minus 3b. Minus b times b will give you minus b square. And you close the curly braces. Let's simplify further. We have our 12a b minus 3b. So let's expand the curly braces. So we have the negative outside. Let's multiply by them. By them we have in the bracket, the curly bracket, we have in the curly bracket we have, let's expand the curly bracket. We have negative times 3a, which will give you negative 3a, negative 3a. Then we have negative times ab, which will give you negative ab. Then we have negative times negative 3b, which will give you plus 3b. Negative times minus b square, which will give you plus b square. Check to see if there are some common terms. You realize that we have ab here. We also have ab here, right? So you can simplify further by 12ab minus ab, which will give you 11ab, right? So these terms are out. These terms are out. 12ab minus ab will give you 11ab. They are out. Minus 3b is also here. Minus 3b is also here. And plus 3b is also here. So these terms will cancel each other. They will cancel. Plus and minus will cancel. Now we also have minus 3a. And we have b squared. So we now left with minus 3a plus b squared. And that is our final answer. 11ab minus 3a plus b squared. That is our final answer. Question 3c. Akosua walked for 3 hours at the rate of 1.5 km per hour from her village to Palm to take a bus to Kwam. If the bus is traveling at a rate 15.5 km per hour, takes 2 hours to travel from Palm to Kwam. I. What is the distance from Akosua's village to Kwam? I. How long will it take a man riding a bicycle at a rate 5 km per hour to travel from Akosua's village to Kwam? So let's consider the question again. Let's represent A. Right? Let's represent Akosua with A. So Akosua walking time is equal to 3 hours. Okay. And then the question says at a rate. So Akosua speed again is equal to 1.5 km per hour. So 1.5 per hour from her village to Palm. Let's consider a line from her village to Palm to take a bus. So we have a line like this. So This is Akosua's village, V, right? And Akosua walked for 3 hours at the rate 1.5 km per hour from her village to Palmu. So this is Palmu. That's where the bus station is. So when you get to Palmu, to take a bus to Kwamu, so this is the destination. That's where the school is. If the bus is traveling at a rate, so bus 2 is traveling at a rate, Akosua bus speed. Let's represent it with the BS. Akosua bus speed is at a rate 15 km per hour. So it's 15.5. It's 15.5. Then what happened? And it takes 2 hours to travel from Palmu to Kwamu. And then Akosua from Palmu to Kwamu is equal to 2 hours. Now, what is the distance from Akosua's village to Kwamu, right? So they want the distance from Akosua's village to Kwamu. They want the total distance from V to Q. Akosua's school is at Q, that's Kwamu, right? But Akosua has to leave the village and get to Palmu. That's where the bus station is. Then after taking the bus, she will now travel to Kwamu. That is where the school is, right? So in order to get the total distance from the village to Kwamu, we have to consider the fact that speed is equal to distance over time. Distance over time, right? So let's find the distance from the village to Palmu where she took the bus. So we consider the walking speed. So the distance from village to Palmu is equal to the time taken. It took her 3 hours, so 3 times the speed. Right, the walking speed was 1.5 km per hour, so 1 times 1.5, which is equal to 3 times 1.5. 3 times 1.5 will give you 4.5. 4.5. So that's the distance from the village to Palmu, right? That's the distance from the village to Palmu. That's this distance. This 4.5 here. That's the distance from V to P. We have to also find the distance from P to Q by considering the rate at which the bus was moving. The bus was moving at 15.5 km per hour, right? And it took 2 hours to travel. So the time is 2 and the speed is 15.5. So we also have 15.5 times 2 is equal to distance from Palmu to Kwamu, right? So 15.5 times 2. If you take 15.5 times 2, it will give you 31. It's equal to 31, right? That's 31 kilometer. This is in kilometer. I. What is the distance from Akosua's village to Kwano? So to find the total distance, T, total distance, it will be equal to the distance from Akosua's village to Panu plus the distance from Panu to Kwano. So if you consider the distance, we have 4.5 here to be equal to 4.5 plus 31 here, which will give you 35.5 kilometer. So that is the total distance to travel from the village to Kwanu. I says, how long will it take a man riding a bicycle at 5 kilometers per hour? So the man is riding the bicycle. So man speed is equal to 5 kilometers per hour. So that's 5 kilometers per hour, right? To travel from Akoswes village to Kwanu, but we already know the distance from the distance D. That's the total distance to travel from the Akoswes village to Kwanu to be equal to 35.5 kilometers. So they are now asking for the time. How long will it take the man to ride a bicycle at 5 kilometers per hour to travel from Akoswes village to Kwanu? So since you know the speed and you know the distance, you are asked to find time. And then from the expression, speed is equal to distance over time, right? And you multiply here by time, here by time. Time will cancel time. Living time times speed to be equal to distance. But here we want to find time. So we divide both sides by speed over speed. Speed will cancel speed. So we now have time. Time is equal to distance over speed. We all know the distance from the village to Kwanu to be 35.5. So we'll substitute it inside here to be equal to 35.5 all over, and then the man is traveling at a speed 5 kilometers per hour. So it's the speed is 5 kilometers. So we substitute the 5 inside. So we have 35.5 divided by 5, which will give you 7.1. Right? So we have time taken to travel from Akoswes village to Kwanu, right? Time taken by the man. Let me add m to it to differentiate. To travel from Akoswes village to Kwanu to be equal to the 35.5 divided by 5, which will give you 7.1 hours. And that is the time. And that is the answer. Question 3a. Express 8 times 32 times 4 times 2 in the form 2 to the power m. Right? We should express 8 times 32 times 4 times 2 to the power m. So it's under indices. So 8 can be expressed as 2 to the power 3. 2 times 2 times 2 will give you 8 times 2 to the power what will give you 32. 2 to the power 5 will also give you 32. Then 2 to the power 2 will give you 4. Then 2 to the power 1 will give you 2, right? But according to rules of indices, when you are multiplying and the numbers are the same, we add the exponent. So we have 2 to the power 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 1. So we now have 2 to the power 5 plus 3 will give you 8 plus 2 10 plus 1 11. When the numbers are the same, you can equate the exponent. So since the numbers are the same, we have 2 here and we have another 2 here, right? We have 2 here and we have another 2 here. You can equate the exponent, which will give you m is equal to 11 as your final answer. M is equal to 11, right? So this is I. 2 to the power 11, that's for I. And then I. M is equal to 11. Question 3bi. Factorize the expression pi n square k minus 1 over 4 pi n square q. Pi n square q. Right? Factorize this expression pi n square k minus 1 over 4 pi n square q. So we can just put this in a bracket like this. So what is going, we can factorize pi outside. There's also n here, so we have pi here, n square here, right? So we can factorize pi n square outside, pi n square outside, so we have pi n square. If you factorize pi n square outside, it will leave with k here. So pi n square times k will give you pi n square k, and you bring the operator minus. You are left with 1 over 4 here, q. Pi n square times 1 over 4 q will give you 1 over 4 pi n square q. That's I. 3bi. Use your answer in bi to find the value of the expression when pi is equal to 22 over 7, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 2, and k is equal to 19. K is equal to 19. K is equal to 19, and q is equal to 20. We should find the value of the expression. So you just substitute the values inside that particular expression, which is pi n square. So pi is equal to 22 over 7, and n is equal to 2. So 2 square bracket open, 2 square bracket open, k is equal to 19 bracket open, 19 minus 1 over 4, q is equal to 20. Q is equal to 20. Q is equal to 20. Right? 22 over 7. 2 square is equal to 4. So we have 4 here. 2 square is equal to 4. Bracket open. 19 minus 4 into itself 1, 4 into 20 5. So we now have 19 minus 5 like this, bracket close. 19 minus 5 will give you here 14. We have 4 here. We have 22 over 7. 22/7 times 4 times 14. It will give you 176. So this will imply to 176 as your final answer. Question 3C. Gifty and Justina shared an amount of 418 Ghana cedis. If Gifty had 20% more than Justina, how much did Justina receive? So we have let G represent Gifty and then J represent Justina, right? So the total amount that is shared between Gifty and Justina is 418 Ghana cedis. So Gifty and Justina is equal to 418 Ghana cedis. In terms of the amount, it's equal to 418 Ghana cedis. So this is equation 1. Now, they said if Gifty had 20% more than Justina, how much did Justina receive? 20% more than Justina. So we have the Justina's own, the amount that Justina received plus the 20% of the amount, which is 20/100 times the total amount, that is the 418 cedis, right? 0 cancel 0, 0 cancel 0. 2/10 times 418 will give you 83.6. So we have Gifty. We have Gifty to be equal to the amount received by Justina plus 83.6 Ghana cedis. 83.6 Ghana cedis. And that is equation 2. Equation 1 being, we have equation 1 being G plus J is equal to 418 Ghana cedis. That's the total amount shared between these two, right? One received 83.6 Ghana cedis more than the other. So let's put G is equal to J plus 83.6 inside the equation. We now have J plus 83.6 like this. That represents G plus J is equal to 418, right? So now we have J plus J will give you 2J. We now have 2J plus 83.6 is equal to 418 Ghana cedis. Now we have 2J is equal to 2J is equal to, we take this one across, the equal sign, it becomes negative. So we now have 418 Ghana cedis minus 83.6. So 418 Ghana cedis minus 83.6 will give you 334.4. It will give you 334. To give you 334.4 is equal to 2G. Divide both sides by 2, here over 2, 2 cancel 2, leaving J to be equal to 334.4. 334.4 divided by 2. It will give you 167.2. it will give you 167.2 as in cities. It will give you 167.2, right? So Justina received 167.2 Ghana cedis. That is the value for Justina. That's the amount received by Justina, right? So if you want to find the amount received by Gifty, we just take this amount, that's the Justina price, plus the bonus money that Gifty received more than Justina. That is here, the 20% of the amount, which is which gives you the 83.6 Ghana cedis. So you add the 83.6 Ghana cedi plus 167.2 Ghana cedis to give you Gifty. But the question is not asking for Gifty, it's asking for Justina. How much did Justina receive? So Justina received 167.2 Ghana cedis. Question 4a. If 4m minus 2 bracket open 3 plus 2m bracket close plus m bracket open 2m plus 4 bracket close is equal to 0. Find the value of m. So let's first of all expand the bracket. So we have here 4m minus 2 times 3 will give you minus 6. So we have minus 6 here. Minus 2 times 2m. So we take the term outside and multiply by each term in the bracket, right? So we have minus 2 times 2m will give you minus 4m plus, we expand the bracket, m times 2m. From here you take m and multiply by each term, right? So m times 2m will give you 2m squared. M times 4 will give you 4m plus 4m to be equal to 0, right? So let's consider the first term, which is 4m. Now we have 4m here, we have minus 4m here, we also have 4m here. So 4m minus 4m plus 4m, so we have 4m here, because this 4m will cancel this 4m, leaving one of the 4m. So we have 4m, and then we have minus 6, so gone, plus 2m squared, right, is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation, so it can be restated as 2m squared plus 4m minus 6 to be equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. Now we can divide through by 2. So here over 2, here over 2, here over 2. So that we now have 2 cancel 2, leaving m squared plus 2 into itself 1, 2 here, 2. So we have 2m minus 2 into itself 1, 2 here, 3. We have minus 3 to be equal to 0. So with quadratic equation, how do you solve a quadratic equation like this? You take the constant. The constant here is 3. You take the constant 3 and multiply by the coefficient of m squared here. The coefficient of m squared here, which is 1. Now find all the factors of 3 such that when you multiply you get minus 3, and when you add you get 2m. So what are the factors of 3? Factors of 3 are 1 and 3, both positive and negative. So we have 1 times 3, right? And then we have 1 times minus 3. Now we have 3 times minus 1. We can also have minus 3 times minus 1 times minus 3, both positive and negative. These are the possible factors. So among these factors, this is just one. Among these factors, which one do you think if you multiply to give you minus 3? If you consider this 1 times minus 3, yes, it will give you minus 3. 1 plus minus 3, this will give you minus 2, so this one is wrong. What about this? So this will be the correct one. What about this? If you consider minus 1 times 3, it will give you minus 3, which is correct. If you multiply, it should give you the constant, which is 3, minus 3, correct. Now when you take minus 1 plus 3, it will give you 2m. It will give you 2, which is also correct. So is this factor that we consider. So we just substitute inside the equation. So we have m square minus m plus, we have 1 minus 1 and 3 plus 3m minus 3 is equal to 0. So it really works. So here we can factorize m out. From m square minus m, we can factorize m out. So we have m here, m inside. Because if you take the m outside times the m inside, it will give you m square minus 1. M times minus 1 will give you minus m. Here too we can factorize 3 outside plus 3 outside. And we have m. 3 times m will give you the 3m minus 1. 3 times minus 1 will give you the minus 3, which is equal to 0. Now since they have common brackets, right, which is m minus 1, we take the numbers outside in a bracket, which is m plus 3, like this. And then we take one of the bracket, which is m minus 1, which is equal to 0. So to find m, take m plus 3 is equal to 0. That's the first bracket. So this implies to take 3 across here. So m is equal to minus 3. Let's consider the second bracket. M minus 1 is equal to 0. This implies to, we take the minus 1 across here. So we have m is equal to 1. And that is your final answer. So that's your final answer. M is equal to minus 3 or 1. That's the answer. We first of all have to draw the diagram, right? So the diagram, we can have people, right? We can have people. In the diagram we have people, right? And we have number, that's the number of people, number, column. And then we have angle of sector. Angle of sector. So the people we have 240 women. So you have women here to be 240, and then we have 200 men, so men to be 200, and then we also have 160 boys, so boys to be 160, and then we have 120 girls, so we have girls to be 160. Girls is equal to 120, right? That's not all. So what is the total number of people at the rally? So total will be equal to the total number of people at the rally will be equal to, you add all the numbers, right? You add 240 plus 200 plus 160 plus 120, which will give you 720, right? 720. So 720 is the total number of people at the rally. So let's find the angle of sector. With the angle of sector, just take each number, let's say example 240, divide by the total number which is 720, and multiply it by 360 degrees, which is equal to, so 240 divided by 720 times 360 will give you 120 degrees. You do same for the others. So the formula is number, take the number, divide by the total times 360 to equal to the angle of sector. This gives you the angle of the sector. So at the end, try and find the total number of angles. When you sum all the angles in the sector, that's 120 plus, we have 120 degrees plus 100 plus 80 plus 60, which is equal to 360 degrees. Total gives you 360 degrees, meaning your calculations are correct. When you sum all the angles of the sector and it gives you less than 360 degrees, or it gives you more than 360 degrees, meaning your calculations are wrong. Right. So after generating this table and getting the values, then you proceed with I. I says draw a pie chart to represent the information. So you come with I. You open to any radius of your choice. This is the center, so you can open to any radius of your choice. Then you draw a circle. Example like this. So this is the center. Now to start measurement, you first of all have to, you can have a line drawn to touch any part of the circumference, forming a radius, right? So before you start the measurement, you have to get your radius first. Then you can start your measurement from there. So you can start your measurement from there. After, so from here, starting from 0 degrees, we have 120 degrees to be around here. 120 will be here, right? So 120 degrees will be here. From the center to the reference dot. So from the center to the circumference. So here will be 120 degrees. And the angle left here will be 60 degrees. But we can still prove it. Let's measure the angle. If this is the center, if this is the center, if this is the center 0, if this is the center, from the center, starting from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, exactly. 60 is here, 60 is here. That proves that that's the angle. So the angle there is 60 degrees. But we have their corresponding names. For 120 degrees is for women. This is for women. And then men is 100. So here is for men. And then we have boys to be 80 degrees. Here is boys. And then we have the last one, which is girls. Right. So that is the pie chart for I. And then I, what percentage of the people at the rally were females? What percentage of the people at the rally were females? So that's I here. So with I, to find the percentage of the people at the rally that were females, we take the total number of females. Right, there are two ways you can find it. You can decide to use the angles to find it by taking the angle of female. Right, what percentage of the people at the rally were females? So you have to first of all have to add girls plus women. Right, girls, angle for girls is equal to 60 degrees. So you add girls plus, there are two ways. Either you add number of girls, plus number of women. They are all females. Number of women, right, all over the total number of people at the rally. The total number of people at the rally, total number, and multiply it by 100%. This will give you number of girls is equal to, the total number of girls is equal to 120 plus total number of women is equal to, total number of women is equal to 240 all over the total number of people at the rally. If you sum all of them, it gives you 720 times 100%, right? So 120 plus 240, 120 plus 240 all over 720 times 100, it will give you 50%, which will give you 50%. Now that's one way of solving it. Another way of solving is by considering the angles. So angles for girls is equal to 60 degrees, example 60 degrees, plus angles for women is equal to 120 degrees all over total angle, which is 360 times 100. So we have 120 degrees plus 60 degrees all over 360 times 100, and you have the same answer, which is 50%. Any is accepted.
Question 5a. Madam AC used 1/4 and 2/3 of a X acres of land
to cultivate mangoes and oranges respectively? A. Express in terms of S the number of acres of land used to cultivate I. Mangoes, II. Oranges. So with I, express in terms of S the number of acres of lands used to cultivate mangoes. So mangoes is the first ratio, which is 1/4. So we have just 1/4 x from the question. The first fraction, which is 1/4, is for mangoes, and the second fraction, 2/3, is for oranges, right? So I will be 1/4 of the total land, and the total land is given as x. So we just express it 1/4 of x, right? And then I, which is for oranges. I is for oranges, which is the second fraction, 2/3. So you just express it 2/3 of x in terms of x. That's the fraction that is used to cultivate oranges. Question 5b. If Madam AC used 20 more acres of the land to cultivate oranges than mangoes, find the value of x. If Madam AC used 20 more acres of the land to cultivate oranges than mangoes, find the value of x. So here, apart from the fraction that was taken of the total land to cultivate mangoes and oranges respectively, now question B says that we should consider the fact that 20 more acres of land is used to cultivate more of the oranges, right? So now oranges are more than mangoes. So you have to take the fraction of the oranges, which is, if you take the fraction of the oranges, which will give you the 2/3x. Fraction of the oranges is 2/3x, to be equal to fraction of the mangoes, which is the 1/4x. Then you add 20 to it, right? More of the 20 more acres is used to cultivate oranges. So the ratio, that is the 2/3x, will be equal to the 1/4x, that's for mangoes, plus the 20 acres. So with this equation, by solving it, you find the LCM, right? And the LCM here will be 12. 4 times 3 is 12. So the LCM here is 12. So the LCM here is 12. So you multiply each time by 12. So we have 12 times 2/3x to be equal to 12 times 1/4x plus 20 times 12. Right? Now, 3 into itself 1, 3 here, 4. So 4 times 2 will give you 8. We have 8x here to be equal to 4 into itself 1, 4 here, 3. 3 times 1 will give you 3. So we have 3x plus 20 times 12 will give you 240. Right? So we group like terms. We'll send the 3x across. We will have 8x minus 3x to be equal to 240. 8x minus 3x will give you 5x. So we have 5x here to be equal to 240. We divide both sides by 5. Right? We divide both sides by 5. Here by 5. 5 will cancel 5. Leaving x to be equal to 240 divided by 5 will give you 48. Right? They say we should find x, and x represents the total number of acres, right? So x is equal to 48 acres, right? Question C. How many acres of land was used? Question C. How many acres of land was used to cultivate mangoes? So the ratio of land that was used to cultivate mangoes is 1/4x, right? And now we have found our x to be 48. So this implies we have found our total land to be 48. So now the ratio 1/4 times 48. So 1/4, 1 divided by 4 times 48 will give you 12. It will give you 12, right? So this 12 represent the ratio of land. That's the 1/4 of the total land that was used to cultivate mangoes. So 12 acres of land was used to cultivate mangoes. Mangoes is equal to 12. That's for C. D. Calculate, correct to the nearest whole number, the percentage of the land that was not used. So to find the percentage of the land that was not used, we have to first of all find the total ratio that was used. So we were having 1/4 for mangoes, and so because of the n, you bring multiplication sign. As far as mathematics is concerned, anytime you hear "and" in mathematics, it means multiplication. So 1/4 and oranges was what? We have 1/4 and then 2/3 for oranges, right? So 1/4 and 2/3 is equal to 2 here 1, 2 here 2, to give you 1/6. So 1/6 is the total ratio of land that was used. So to find the total ratio of the land that was not used, we take 1 minus 1/6. So we have LCM 6, right? 6 will cancel 6, 11 minus 1. Here we have 6. 6 minus 1 will give you 5/6, right? So the total ratio that was not used is 5/6. So they say we should find, to the nearest whole number, the percentage of the land that was not used. So we take the total ratio that was not used, that's 5/6, and multiply it by 100 to find the total percentage that was not used. That's 5/6 times 100, which will give you 83 points. It will give you 83.333 is recurring decimal. It's 333, right? So they say to the nearest whole number, so it will be 83%. So the percentage that was not used is equal to 83%. Don't forget to bring the percentage sign. So the percentage that was not used is equal to the 83%.
Question 6a. Using a scale of 2 cm to 2 units on both axes, draw on the graph sheet 2 perpendicular axes OY and OZ. Draw on the graph sheet 2 perpendicular axes OY and OX for the interval -10 is less than or equal to x less than or equal to 10, and -10 less than or equal to y, and then less than or equal to 10, right? So A represents the scale of the graph. So A is the scale of the graph. You use that for your measurement. That's the scale. That's the scale of the graph. Question 6b. I. It says a quadrilateral ABC, right? ABCD with vertices A having 2, 4, B having B having 2, 8, and C having 8, 8, and D having 8, 4. So it is shown on the graph. You just plot the points A, B, C, D to form a quadrilateral. So it is shown on the graph. I. Question 6b. Question 6b. II states the image A1, B1, C1, D1 of ABCD under a translation by the vector -5, -2, where A maps to A1, B maps to B1, C maps to C1, and D maps to D1. So with this one, you just translate the points A, B, C, D with the vector -5, -2. So how do you do that? We have A. So first of all, I have to state the points again, and the point A was 2, 4. Point B is 2, 8. So we have B here, 2, 8, and point C is 8, 8, 8, 8, and D is 8, 4. So D is 8, 4. These are the points A, B, C, D. So you translate each point with the vector -5, -2. So you now have plus. You just add the vector. That's -5, -2 plus -5, -2 plus -5, -2 plus -5, -2. You understand? So you translate each point with the vector -5, -2 by adding it. So which will give you, so this is equal to A2 to give you which is equal to A1. So it will give you A1, and the A1 will give you 2 minus 5. We have 2 here, minus 5 here. So 2 minus 5 will give you -3. So A1 will be -3. For the x-axis, it will be -3. And let's look at the y. We have 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 will give you 2. So it will be -3, 2. -3, 2. That's the point for A1. Let's go to B1. So B1 will be equal to the point 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 will give you -3. 2 minus 5 will give you -3 here. 2 minus 5, it will give you -3. And 8 minus 2 will give you 6. So you have -3, 6 as the point for B1. Let's go to C1. With C1 we have 8 minus 5. 8 minus 5 will give you 3. And we have 8 minus 2. 8 minus 2 will give you 6. So we have 3 and 6 as a point for C1. Let's go to D1. D1 will give you
8 minus 5 will give you 3. 4 minus 2 will give you 2. So D1 will give you 3, 2. So you plot each point on the graph. A1, B1, C1, D1. You plot it on the graph. It is shown on the graph. So let's go to I. Question 6b, I. With I, we still have the same point, A, to give you A is 2, 4, 2, 4. B is 2, 8. C is 8, 8. So we have 8 here. Sorry, it's not negative. C is 8, 8. So we have 8, 8. And then D, the last one. D to give you, D is to give you 8, 4, 8, 4. And then I states that we should find the image of A2, B2, C2, D2 of A, B, C, D under the reflection in the y-axis, where A maps to A2, B maps to B2, C maps to C2, and D maps to D2. So with this, you are reflecting A1, B1, you are reflecting A, B, C, D in the y-axis. When you are reflecting in the y-axis, x becomes negative. So we have this formula, we have x, y, like this. When it's reflected in the y-axis, it gives you minus x, y. That's the formula. When it's reflected in the y-axis, x becomes negative. So we can implement it here to get our A2, B2, C2, D2. So here we have, so when A 2, 4, when it's reflected in the y-axis, so the x value becomes negative. So we have our A2. So this will implies to, we have our A value, which is 2, 4. That's the point. A is 2, 4. So when it's reflected in the y-axis, the x value becomes negative. So it gives you the A2 to be minus 2, 4. You just negate all the x values. And then same thing as the other ones. So we have B2 to also give you, when it's reflected in the y-axis, x becomes negative, minus 2, 8. And C2, when it's reflected in the y-axis, x value becomes negative, minus 8, 8. And the last one, D2, when it's reflected in the y-axis, the x value becomes negative, so minus 8, 4. And the y value remains the same. That's for I. So you plot D1, C1, you plot A1, B1, C1, D1, right? And you plot the points. So you plot the points A2, B2, C2, D2 on the graph sheet. So it is shown on the graph sheet, right? It is shown on the graph sheet. And then we have question CI. What type of quadrilateral is ABCD? So it's also shown on the graph. The type of quadrilateral, after drawing all the shapes, you realize that it's rectangle, right? Let's go to CII. CII says that find the gradient of A2, B1. Find the gradient of A2, B1. So to find the gradient of A2, B1, let's first of all list the point. So A2 is minus 2, 4. So we have A2 to have the value minus, to have the values A2 is here, minus 2, 4, minus 2, comma, 4. And then we have B1. We have B1. And B1 also has the points B1 has the point minus 3, 6. B1 is minus 3, 6, minus 3, 6. So this is A2 and then B1. And we are asked to find the gradient of these 2 points. To find the gradient, you have to know that gradient is equal to, let's represent gradient with G. Mostly it's S, right? It's a slope, so it's always represented with S, but let's represent it with G. Gradient is equal to change in X, change in X. Gradient is equal to change in Y, is equal to change in Y, change in Y over change in X. Gradient is equal to change in Y over change in X. And then gradient, which implies to Y2 minus Y1 all over X2 minus X1, X2 minus X1, right? So gradient, that's slope, is equal to Y2 minus Y1 all over X2 minus X1. So let's go back to the points. A2, the X value for A2 can be our Y2, right? Our X value can also be, the X value for A2 can be our Y2, or the X value for A2 can be our Y1. So here you have to take note of their corresponding values. The X value for A2 can be our X1. It can also be our value for X2, right? Depending on how you want to do it. So you can represent this one as this value as our X1, Y1. You can interchange them. When you have X1 here at the Y side, at the first, when you have the point A2, right, getting there, when you get the X when you generate the X1 value from the point A2, then its corresponding Y value will be Y1. And then when you generate the X1 value from point B1, then its corresponding Y value will be our Y1. Okay. So let's represent this as our X1, Y1, right? So point A2, we have X1 to be equal to minus 2, and then Y1, 4. So it simply means that we have this one to be equal to our X2 value, and then this one to be equal to our Y2 value. I mean the point B1. So let's substitute it inside the formula. So we have Y2 minus Y1 all over X2 minus X1. So we have 6 minus 4. For the Y value, we have Y2 to be 6 and then Y1 to be 4. So 6 here. This implies to 6 minus 4 all over, let's go back to make reference. We have our X values, X2 to be equal to what? Minus 3, and then X1 to be equal to minus 2. So we have minus 3 minus 2. So we have minus 3 like this, minus 2, right? The negative 2 is from the point, and we have negative here from the formula. So let's continue. 6 minus 4 will give you 2 all over minus 2 minus 2, minus 3 minus 2. Negative will give you positive. So you now have minus 3 plus 2. So minus 3 plus 2 will give you negative 1, which is the same thing as 2. 2 over negative 1 will give you 2. So therefore our gradient, which is the slope, is equal to minus 2. And that is our final answer. From the graph, we will have something like this.
and then using a scale of 2 centimeters to 2 units on both axes, right? So we have 2 centimeters to 2 units, so 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Right? And here too will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And this is y-axis, right? And this one too will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Here to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. But here is negative, right? And like here too is negative in the y-axis. So now B, on the same graph sheet, draw a quadrilateral ABCD with vertices A, 2, 4. A is equal to 2, 4, right? 2, 4. So the 2 here, the 2 from the x-axis, and 4 from y-axis. So if we check here, it will be here. B, 2, 8. So 2 and then 8. So you check and you correspond 8. C, 8, 8. So this is 8, 8. So it will be at the top here. And the last one, 8, 4. So we have 8, and then 4 is here. So this will be the shape of the quadrilateral. It will be a triangle. The quadrilateral will be a rectangle. The shape forms a rectangle. Now, image A, B, A1, B1, the image A1, B1, C1, D1 of ABC under the translation by the vector -5, -2, where A maps to A1, B maps to B1, C maps to C1, D maps to D1. Yes, so if we check, the answers are A1 is -3, 2. So -3 is here. -3 will be between -2 and -4. So -3 will be here, 2. -3, 2 is here. So it will be here. And then -3 is 6. That's B1. This is A1. B1 -3, 6. So it's same -3, but this time around 6. That's B1. And then C1, 3, 6. So we have 3 here. We have 3 over there. 3 will be between here. That's 3. And then 6. This will be here. And the last one, D1, which is 3, 2. So we have 3, same 3, and then 2 here. So in all we have another rectangle. We have another rectangle. And the last one, I. Find the image of A2, B2, C2, D2 of ABC under the reflection in the y-axis, where A maps to A2, B maps to B2, C maps to C2, and D maps to D2. With this, anytime X is reflected in the y-axis, anytime a point is reflected in the y-axis, X becomes negative. So we have the corresponding points A2 to be -2, 4. We have -2. We have -2.
4. We have minus 2 here and the x-axis, and 4 to be here. That's a 2. And then we have B2, which is minus 2, 8. So we have minus 2, 8 to be here. B2 minus 2, 8, and then C2, which is minus 8, 8. So we have negative 8 here. And this corresponds to 8 at the top there. And the last one, D2, which is minus 8, 4. So minus 8 here, and then 4 there. So we have another rectangle like this. Right. So we have 3 rectangles, right? These 3 rectangles forms. And the last question is CI. What type of quadrilateral is ABCD? Quadrilateral is 4-sided figure. So what type of quadrilateral is formed? This is a rectangle. And then C, that's CI, is a rectangle. CII.
Please subscribe to the What Maths class at TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube for more videos like this.